A lush, beautiful landscape, some of the most gorgeous architecture I've seen in a resort in my entire life, so many amenities, amazing food, and a footprint so massive that it's pretty easy to get turned around. Xcaret has become our favorite resort, full stop. Not just for my wife and I, but also if we bring our kids. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate your support. Okay, so as big as this resort is, this review is going to be pretty comprehensive, and I want to say right off the bat, this is in no way sponsored, advertised, paid for by Xcaret. My opinions are absolutely 100% my own, and I'm only here to share information that I think is going to be useful if you're planning a trip. Okay, so first of all, before we get started, let me talk quickly about price and basically how we got here, because Xcaret is not cheap. My wife and I went back in 2022 at the tail end of COVID, and we got an amazing deal, right? I think we paid around $5,500 for 7 nights with flights included. Since then, prices have gone up quite a bit, but I always kept an eye out. Most recently, I checked Expedia for a 7-day trip for my wife and myself, as well as our 2 older kids. Now, the price at that point was coming out to between $9,500 and $10,000 for a 7-day trip, which is wild. Now, in order for us to take this trip, 2 great things happened. First of all, Xcaret frequently runs a promotion, typically around the summer months. For us, we went in May, where kids get to stay free. So you're essentially just paying for the adults to stay there. And second, we have friends who have a membership with Xcaret. It's a paid membership that you have to pay for to have. And what they were able to do is offer us a discounted rate on the hotel. Now, for 7 days for the 4 of us, that came out to about $5,500 just for the hotel. So obviously we still had to cover the difference. Thankfully, we travel frequently. We had a ton of airline points, and so we were able to use those to get the flights to Mexico. Now, the equivalent of that, I don't remember the exact point value, but it came out to about $2,000, which means for 7 days, we essentially paid $7,500. It's not cheap, I'm not gonna lie. It's still on the pricey side, but I believe this resort is worth it, and I'll tell you why. But still, we were able to save 25 to 30% off of the advertised rates on places like Expedia and others. And trust me, I do my research quite a bit. I tried to find the best deal and it just wasn't there. And after having been there for a few days, we kind of decided we want to come back. And so we ended up getting the membership ourselves. Now, there's a bunch of benefits included with the membership, and I'm not going to get into details on all that, but what it allows me to do is offer this referral program, which I can refer folks to come here and stay at the discounted rate. So if you've been to Xcaret before, or you're interested in going and you want to take advantage of that discounted rate, click the link in the description below and you can get some details on how to do that. I promise you, it doesn't cost you anything. I'm not here to try and sell you anything or anything like that. It's literally just to help folks who are watching videos like this to get the best deal on their trip. Okay, let's talk about the resort. Now, the resort is not like a typical hotel. There isn't just like 1 or 2 buildings. In fact, there's 10 buildings located here at Xcaret. You have 2 sides. You have Xcaret Mexico, which is essentially the sort of family, kid-friendly area, and also you have Xcaret Arte next door, which is the adults-only side. That's the one that we went to back in 2022. I do have a video on that if you wanted to check it out. It's below in the description. Now, there is another hotel located just next door to Xcaret Arte. It comes out to even pricier than that, so I'm not going to talk about that in this video, maybe one day. But Xcaret went through a massive renovation back, which I believe ended in 2025. I believe it was around $700 million, and it effectively doubled the size of the entire resort. Previously, they went from 5 Casas to now 10, from I don't know how many rooms before to 1,800 rooms total. So if you've been to Xcaret before 2025, you might not have been able to take advantage of some of the new amenities that they've provided with the expansion. So if you go again, obviously you'll be able to see things a little bit differently. So as I mentioned, there's 10 casas at Xcaret Mexico. There's Casa Viente, Casa Tierra, Casa Espiral, Casa Agua, and Casa Fuego. Now, Casa Fuego is the original adults-only building as part of Xcaret Mexico, but now obviously you have Xcaret Arte, which is like the entire resort, so you can just head over there. I don't really see the point of staying at Casa Fuego on the Mexico side. Might as well as just skip the line and go straight to the adults-only side just across the river. As for the new expansions, you've got a lot of really great options as well. Casa Luna, this is kind of built for families with little ones aged 0 to 9. It has the Lunateca for toddlers. Our kids were 8 and 5, so some of these things we didn't get to experience for ourselves because our kids were either too old or too young. But the Lunateca, I've heard, has great reviews. It is essentially a daycare where you do have to stay with your children, but it's kind of like activities and you get to do a lot of fun stuff there. Also in Casa Luna is the Xiquit Inn, which is a mini pretend hotel. This is kind of for kids from ages 5 up to 8 or 9, I believe. It's great. I'll talk about it a little bit in more detail later. I would definitely recommend coming here if your kids are in that age group. Casa Vida is newer. It's home of the big water slides. You'll see these on a lot of the photos and the promotional materials and in this video. One thing I will call out right away, just so you know, there is a height requirement to go on these big slides, and that height requirement is 48 inches. Unfortunately, I didn't do enough homework. Fortunately, my 8-year-old is tall enough, so she was able to ride it, but our 5-year-old was about 2 to 3 inches just below that threshold, and they're pretty strict. Like, they just would not let her through, even on some of the smaller slides, but safety first. Then you have Casa Sol, which is newer. It's geared towards family with kids ages 10 to 12. Casa Eclipse is built for couples or solo travelers. It has this private river access, and it also contains our absolute favorite restaurant at the resort. It's called Arriba Baja, which again, I'll get into more detail later. Casa Cielo is kind of the social hub of the property, as I call it. It's pretty centrally located, and it's also home of the nightclub, which I'm not gonna try to pronounce, but I believe it's Chups. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's kind of the brief overview just of all of the casas. Now, Xcaret does this thing, and you'll see it in the marketing materials. It's called All Fun Inclusive. So what does that mean? It basically means that everything is covered. Rather than saying all inclusive, they say all fun inclusive, because not only does it include all of the food, beverages, and amenities, but it also includes access to parks and transportation from the airport to the resort, and then transportation from the resort to the various parks that they have. If you're going on a 7-day trip, I might not recommend trying to do all of the parks. Like, some of them are more family friendly. Others are really kind of meant for older children or adults, maybe like teenagers plus. Okay, let's talk about where to stay. Now, we stayed in Casa Tierra, which is part of the original build. It's one of the older buildings on the property. It's also probably the cheapest casa to stay in of all of the casas. Like, some of them have included additional amenities, but for us personally, this made the most amount of sense. And let me tell you why. First of all, we're with kids, so we're not gonna be staying in the room besides just going to bed. And obviously you have like room service and things like that if you needed a mid-afternoon break. But the room itself is really nice. I mean, from our experience back in 2022 at Xcaret Arte, the rooms are essentially identical. We had 2 queen beds, there's Mexican artistry on the walls, you step outside, you have a hammock, and we found a second one as well. And for us, the view was just greenery. And honestly, I love that. We've done swim ups before in the past, and we either don't use them or they kind of ruin a bit of the privacy experience, in my opinion. Now, I will say, for some of the casas that are located along the central strip, I personally would never get the swim ups there. The reason being is that's where all of the foot traffic happens every single day. And so there's hundreds, if not thousands of people. I mean, again, remember, it's 1,800 rooms. So hundreds of people walking on that strip every single day, and every single one of them is gonna have a view into your room. In addition, some of the pools are also located right where the swim ups are. So you have the general population kind of hanging out, doing their thing in the pools, and they can swim up basically right to your door. But hey, for me, it's a hard pass. For you, you might love it, and that's totally fine. If you do, tell me why in the comments. And again, it was the cheapest option. It's still great. We're not spending a ton of time in the room. We want to be out in the pools, doing the amenities, getting food, things like that. So where I lay my head at night matters a lot less. Now, let's talk about my kids' favorite part of the hotel, the pools.
I like Mexico because there's like a lot of pools and I love it so much.
What's been your favorite part?
The pool.
I'm so glad that we pay thousands of dollars and fly for basically 2 days for them to enjoy a pool.
In total, there are 16 pools located at the hotel. 16. It's quite a bit. That includes the rooftop pools as well as some of the large swimming pools and the massive water slides located at Casa Vida, which is where we spent the majority of our time while we were here. Now, as I mentioned, there is a height requirement to go on these slides, 48 inches or 4 feet. So be sure to check your kids' height before you go, because they are very strict with the wardrobe. And by wardrobe, I mean you can't have any rings, you can't have any watches, no sunglasses, no necklaces. My kids were wearing life jackets because that's kind of what we try to do for safety. No life jackets allowed here as well. I think the concern is that some of that stuff might get caught on the slide as you're going down, and so you might injure yourself. So just know that going in. And unfortunately for us, and as always happens every time we go somewhere, something is always under renovation. And in this instance, I believe it was the extreme drop or something like that called. It's basically where the floor opens and you drop down. But that was in May of 2026, so I'm sure it's reopened by now. Also on top of Casa Vida is our favorite pool. So this one is, there's 2 separate pools split up. You can lounge all day. There's pool service, so you can order food and drinks and things like that. And actually the food was surprisingly good here. Now Casa Luna is located just across from that. I actually discovered this area kind of by accident when I was walking around filming. There are slides for kids who are younger than 8 years old, and there's no height requirement. When I walked by initially, I thought it was kind of like a feature of maybe some of the more premium rooms, but it turns out they're just water slides that are open for everyone. And the kids had a really great time there. The only downside is they do not serve any food. So if you're planning on being there for a few hours, just know that when you get hungry, you'll have to pick up and go somewhere else to eat. And Casa Viento is also where we spent quite a bit of time on the water slides. This is the one that's part of the original hotel, and it has kind of this octopus shape on the water. Again, it's open to all ages, which was really fun. However, this pool has a tree that's kind of in the middle of the pool, and unfortunately, iguanas like to get up there sometimes and, you know, defecate from the top of the branches, which ends up landing in the water. They end up shutting down the pool for a few hours so that they can clean it, so they, you know, kick everybody out. Points for cleanliness, but just so you know, this happened to us twice while we were there, and we had to essentially leave the pool every single time. But also at Casa Viento is a restaurant which you can go eat at, so it's literally right next to where these sunbeds are. So if you need a mid-afternoon break, you can watch the kids and still be at the restaurant, no problem. Now, if you're coming here with teenagers, Casa Luna, I believe, is the one that has the teenager lounge. So this is for kids of a certain age. I believe it's a minimum 13 or 15 and up. Only for them, so like adults are not allowed in this place. They also have their own rooftop pool, as well as food and even a nightclub. But our kids were not old enough for any of that, so we didn't really get to experience it. And also part of Casa Luna is the Xcaret Inn, which is basically a mini pretend hotel, like I mentioned earlier. This one's got ball pits, there's interactive activities, scavenger hunts, dress up, and they can do like theater. Now, unfortunately, you can't just leave them here, which is kind of unfortunate because this is where the kids had the most amount of fun indoors. But hey, it was a really great experience. I believe they're open till about 8 p.m. in the evening, so lots of time in the day to go and enjoy something and just get out of the sun for a little bit. Now, there is a second kids club located at Casa Viento. In this one, you can drop off the kids and just kind of leave them for a few hours. That one's open even later. I believe it was 11 p.m. they close. Our kids had a decent amount of time. I'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute. But it was great because we were able to drop them off, enjoy a few hours, go out to eat at one of the adults-only restaurants, and just kind of relax a little bit during our vacation. Side note, I had a friend tell me that if you're going with kids, it's not a vacation, it's a trip. Okay, my favorite topic, food.
The sandwich was really good. I loved it.
Now, there's too many restaurants to count, so I'm not gonna be able to go through them all. And honestly, in the 7 days that we were there, I don't think we would have even been able to try every single place. So we really wanted to be a little bit picky, and there were some clear favorites for us. Arriba Baja. I'm gonna say this place right off the top. It's adults only. During lunch, you don't need reservations. For dinner, you do need reservations. This place is popular. The food is just fantastic. And when I say fantastic, I don't mean just like, oh, it's great, you know, for like an all-inclusive. No, like, this is restaurant quality food. And we went back here more than once when we realized just how good it was. It's seafood themed, so you've got, you know, fish, sushi, you got shrimp ceviche, shrimp tacos, stuff like that. Fantastic food, highly recommend it. If you're coming here, if you're going to Xcaret Mexico at any point, make sure that you book these places in advance. I believe you can book them within 2 weeks of your arrival to the hotel. It's worth it. Otherwise, if you show up, you might be out of luck and won't be able to get in. Xingao was another one of our favorites. This is like the sushi slash teppanyaki place. We came here the first night, we didn't have reservations, so we had the teppanyaki, but it was still really filling and the food quality was surprisingly good. Like I've had teppanyaki, which is, you know, where the hibachi when they cook right in front of you, at like a lot of different places, and the one here was really good and it was very filling. So of course we had to come back. We made reservations and came back for sushi. Again, the sushi here was just like restaurant quality sushi. It was very good. Now, if you're looking for breakfast, me personally, like my family, we're not really like the buffet for breakfast type of people. So we kind of like to go a little bit light just to get our day started faster, and then eventually we'll catch up with lunch. But if you wanted to grab a quick bite for breakfast, I would recommend Central. This is located right next to Casa Vida. The coffee there, fantastic. Again, okay, so in this case, let's say like for an all-inclusive resort, it's fantastic. I am a bit of a coffee nerd, and so like, don't expect, you know, independently owned small batch coffee roasting, but it is very good. And the sandwiches that they have, the fruit and the yogurt parfaits and things like that, also very good. And it makes for like an easy, quick, light breakfast that you can either take with you or you can enjoy it there. And of course, we want to mention cinema. Our kids really love this place. I really like the atmosphere. This is located in the bottom of Casa Vida, basically right underneath the water slides. So you can come here for lunch or dinner, take a break from the water slides and get out of the sun for a little bit and go eat. I would also say that this is where they have the best tacos on the resort. So you'll notice once you walk in, it's just sort of giant atrium with a bunch of little food carts. Everything is self-service, so you come up, you order your thing, you sit back down, and then they will serve you drinks. As I mentioned, we really like tacos here. Our kids loved the marquesitas, which are essentially you know, fried crepes. So like you get your Nutella, banana, strawberry. It's rolled, fried, and they get to enjoy it. In addition, there's also pizza and things like that. Our kids can be picky eaters sometimes. And so if you need like a quick bite and you're not trying to dress up and do all that, cinema is just going to be a great experience for that. They also have a really large ball pit for the kids to play in, and these black and white old school movies playing on the wall. Hence why it's called cinema. Now, as I mentioned, we didn't get to try every single restaurant on the resort. Big note I will say just about the buffet is like, they're buffets, you know, they're fine, they're good. Not the worst, not fantastic, but if you need like, you kind of indecisive and everybody just kind of wants to find a place to sit down and take what they want, those are great options. I will say that the Mercado is probably open the latest of all of these places. So if you didn't make reservations and you need a place to eat, stop by Mercado. The food is still gonna be pretty good. Now, this place called La Silla, which was highly recommended, it's Mexican, it's one of two sort of dedicated Mexican cuisine restaurants. We went to on our final night because we weren't able to get reservations, but a spot opened up, something else canceled. It was a little bit underwhelming for me. I mean, you're at an all-inclusive resort, and again, the food here, on the whole, overall, is spectacular. You're not gonna be able to get really great steaks at a restaurant that's all-inclusive. But you know, like La Silla was just a little bit underwhelming for us, and that's fine. Not every place is gonna be great, especially after trying Arriba Baja. We're big seafood people, so maybe just, you know, not my thing. Speaking of not my thing, Bio. This is a restaurant that is vegan friendly, and you know, they got gluten-free options and things like that. The setting is beautiful. It's located in these caves, which are basically next to the lagoon area. Unfortunately for us, we didn't really enjoy it, and our kids, after trying multiple things, just didn't like anything. And because our kids are the harshest critics, I will say that the ice cream just at Xcaret Mexico overall, it's not great. I mean, it's good, but it's not great. There's better ice cream at other all-inclusive resorts. This one just wasn't it. And of course, like all-inclusive resorts, they do have paid options as well, such as Ha. For us, we had a not great experience when we went to a Xcaret Arte and had a paid meal. So I'm just refusing to do that for the future. You've already spent thousands of dollars heading to an all-inclusive resort where the food is included, so why pay extra? Now let's talk about some of the trips that you can take outside of the resort as part of the all fun inclusive experience.
Check it.
So we decided to dedicate a day and go out to Xel-Ha. This is the one in the marketing materials that has the giant blue and white water slide sort of tower. The trip is a little bit long. I believe it took us about 35 minutes just to get there, but we had a really great time. There's definitely a lot to do. It kind of depends on how long you want to stay there. We left on the one that came back at 4 p.m. So we left roughly at 9 a.m. and came back at 4 p.m. And in that time, we explored quite a bit. We went out onto the beach. We took our time climbing up to the spiral tower, which I will say, I thought would be a little more fun than it was. You get to the top, you start going down, about 30 seconds in, you're like, all right, like when is this thing gonna be over? It doesn't go incredibly fast, so it's really kind of more like a slow slide. And eventually you're dunked into salt water, which was a bit of a surprise. It kind of caught me off guard. And I kind of had to calm down one of my kids because she was not expecting that. We also went out and did the floating river, which honestly for me, it was a highlight of Xel-Ha that day. Essentially what you do is you pick up these inner tubes, you get on and the river just kind of pushes you all the way out. It does take 30 to 45 minutes depending on stops you make to get photos and things like that. It's great at first. Once you're getting towards the end, you're kind of ready to get off. And in my case, I had to kind of pull everybody to the shore, which was fun. Now, we also did the dolphin swim, which is an optional add-on you can do. Unfortunately for me, we did it.
We was robbed!
But it was worth it, especially for the kids. We got the swimming with the dolphins, but also we did a little more of the private exclusive package, whatever it's called. And so what that includes is you basically just get more time with the dolphins. You do more tricks with them, more, you know, you get to feel the dolphins and things like that. And honestly, for me, like we've done it before, I thought it was great. With the kids, it's kind of transformative experience for them because now they see dolphins differently now that they've touched them up close. And it was honestly just kind of worth every penny. Now, they do try to upsell you on the photos after the fact. And without going into too much detail, let's just say you can negotiate. Besides that, you can also go snorkeling and as well as some other paid activities like boat rides out onto the ocean. But after all the other activities that we already did at Xel-Ha, we were pretty tired. And so we decided to go eat here, which was a huge mistake because the food is just bad. Like it was just not good. Like I tried a few different things and every single thing was bad. And that was kind of it. We just decided to take the one day to go out and do Xel-Ha. Obviously you can go to the zoo, you can go to Senses, which is a little more of a sensory experience with things like upside down houses and swimming through muddy rivers and things like that. Just didn't feel like we wanted to do that with our kids this time around. So we've talked a lot about the really great things about Xcaret Mexico. Now, what's kind of not to love? There are a few things. I will say right off the bat, if you are a beach person, this place is not for you. Like the beach here is just rocky. There's tons of seaweed. There's posted warning signs. The waves they're fine, but honestly, like getting in that water, I mean, good luck, like go for it. If you want an alternative, what I would recommend is just hanging out by the lagoons. The lagoons are still sweet water, I believe they call it, which is like, it's salty, but it's not super salty as the ocean. And you get sand, like real sand, real water, real caves and things like that. And by caves, of course, I mean cenotes. And so you'll kind of get the beach experience here, minus the waves. In addition, you can also kayak, paddleboard, swim, do whatever you want in that water. It's really great, but if you are I must go to the beach because I'm going somewhere tropical, you're just not gonna have a great experience here. Another thing that wasn't our favorite was the kids club where you can leave your kids to drop off, which is located right around Casas. Now, the reason I say that is because this seems like a place that hasn't been updated with any of the new reservations. It just kind of has this older smell to it. Like it's not bad or gross. It's just, you can tell the place has been there for a while. Now, thankfully, the kids actually had a pretty good time when they were there, which I was kind of surprised about. They did a lot of interactive activities. They picked up a little bit of Spanish. They watched some movies in Spanish, and they even made some friends, which is every parent's, dream come true. I will say, I do wish that the Xcaret Inn is the one that you were allowed to leave your kids in, especially from 5 to 8. Like they're on the older side and they can be fairly independent. So I'm not really sure why the parents have to stay there, but then they can just drop them off at the original kids club. And another downside is, I would say, just the sheer scale of the place. So for us, we stayed in Casa Tierra, which is towards the older side of the hotel, which meant we were doing quite a bit of walking every single day. If you're not a walker and you're gonna get tired quick, this is gonna be a resort that you might struggle with. You're gonna be doing a ton of walking back and forth. And like I mentioned before, it's pretty easy to get turned around. So in the end, is it worth it to go to Xcaret Mexico? And my answer is absolutely yes. Like I said, this is the favorite place that we've been to with the kids, and we plan on coming back multiple times. We purchased a membership, so we spent money in order to get a discounted rate for when we go in the future. Again, if you guys are interested in getting that discounted rate, be sure to click the link in the description. And so I just know that we're gonna be coming back here for, years to come. And from some of the all-inclusive hotels that we've been at in the past, we've been to Ava Cancun. I'll have another video coming up on that shortly as well. We've been to the Grand at Moon Palace. And those places are great in their own way, but I feel like for an all-encompassing experience where not only is the resort great, not only are the kids having fun and the water slides are great and the amenities are fantastic and the food is fantastic. Whew, man, that's a lot. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it is on the pricier side. But we've gone to all-inclusive resorts with kids before. We've been to Aba Cancun, we've been to the Grand at Moon Palace. These are great resorts in their own way, and they have certain strengths that maybe Xcaret doesn't have. But if you want an all-encompassing, all-comprehensive experience, you're just not gonna find it anywhere else, at least in places that we've been so far. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and hit like because it's the currency of YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.